Has your relationship ever felt like it was a scene straight out of a really dramatic movie? You know, the one where the tension is so thick you could feel like you could just reach out and just touch it. Yeah, friend, we have been there too.
Yes, we have. Many old times.
Many old times. So let me ask you, when conflicts arise in your marriage, what's your go-to move? Are you the one who just unleashes this fury of words at your spouse? Are you somebody that maybe just turns into the human version of the silent treatment? You just shut down. Or maybe you're more of the peacekeeper and you're the one always giving in. Friend, every relationship has moments where emotions run high and communication breaks down. But the good news is it doesn't have to stay that way.
Oh, thank goodness.
We are Chris and Megan Rhea, and we talk about life and love from a very practical and biblical perspective. Today we're going to give you some super practical tips that will help you have effective communication even in the stressful moments when emotions are high.
And hopefully will help you avoid the huge disaster that could befall your marriage due to your words and your actions. Hooray! Hooray!
1.
Number 1, understand what you are arguing about.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're hungry, we're angry, we might feel lonely, we might be tired, and that is going to intensify an argument and create an argument that maybe could have been avoided if you just chose a different time to discuss it.
You've heard the issue isn't the issue, right?
Yeah. Other times, what happens is what we're arguing about isn't really what's going on because our emotional needs are not being met.
Yeah.
A guy feels disrespected. A woman doesn't feel like there's security in the relationship. And so this issue becomes an argument and becomes big, not because of what you're actually talking about or arguing about, but because of the underlying emotional needs that we have that are not being met.
And real quick, tell us the funniest argument you've ever been in the comments. If it's still not, brewing, but now it's one of those things you look back on and you laugh and it's funny. I'll tell you one of ours. We got in a fight about a baked potato. Yes, we did. We are professionals.
Should be 450 degrees.
Don't start.
We're over it though.
Start.
We all know you need to preheat the oven to 450 degrees for a baked potato.
Do we all know this? Do we all know this?
But we're over it. We worked through
400.
it. And we're laugh about it now.
So funny!
2.
Use I statements instead of you statements. You always leave your laundry on the floor. You always leave a mess around the house.
You never empty the dishwasher, right?
You never put things away the right way.
Ooh, good one.
Instead, hey, I wish that we could pick up our clothes right away and put them in the hamper. I would feel more appreciated and understood if you simply did that. So we're using I statements. It's about me.
Yeah.
I'm coming in a nice, safe tone.
Right, it's not accusatory, right? It was about Chris's feelings. And I love what you did. You put a feel word on there.
Yes.
Because you love your spouse. You have empathy for your spouse. And sometimes you can get so ticked off about the issue that you forget that there's a feeling behind it. So when Chris wants to feel more peace, right? Is that what you said?
Appreciated.
Appreciated.
Peace, appreciate. Maybe we talk about active listening now.
I'm gonna take that one. You're gonna love it.
So start with I instead of you, and conversation will go much better.
Yes.
3.
Next, active listening. Let me tell you how you actively listen to somebody. You give them your attention and you listen. You're not listening while you're forming a rebuttal in your head. You're not listening to judge them. You are simply looking your spouse in the eye and trying to hear what they're saying without judgment and without forming your reply. Chris, I wish that you would put your socks in the hamper at night and I would feel so appreciated.
So instead of forming an opinion or a fighting back here, I'm just gonna say, so if I put my socks in the hamper at night, you would feel more appreciated.
See how good he listened there? So good.
Disaster averted.
4.
Remember that your spouse is not the enemy.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, you
Yes.
love each other, and
Right.
so much time we think the conflict is with each other, but it's not. So what I've heard people talk about in conflict is to literally write on a piece of paper what the conflict actually is,
Right.
put it in the center of the table, right? And then the two of you are on the same side of the table looking at the conflict and you're discussing it, because that's the problem.
Right.
That's the issue down there. This isn't. We love each other and we value our relationship above the conflict. Therefore, we're not going to get in each other's grill, disrespect each other. We're just going to together go after that problem in the middle of the table.
5.
The next is take an adult timeout. Listen, none of us are above getting really heightened or triggered in the moment, and you know that point in time that you're about to say or do something that you may regret, okay? Instead, press pause. Press pause on the thing and take an adult timeout. You're not gonna just leave though, right? You're gonna tell your spouse, hey, you know what? I'm feeling really triggered right now. I'm feeling really heightened. Can we put a pin in this? I need a minute. I need a minute. And so in that time, what you did is you weren't just leaving, right? You were giving your spouse security and saying, I want to come back to this.
This is hard sometimes,
This is
though,
hard.
because some spouses want to resolve it right now.
Yes.
Other spouses need a minute to sit back and think about it and burn some energy, like go for a run or just process through it and then come back to the table. So if you're the person who, no, we have to resolve it right now, just
Give a little grace.
Yeah, give a little
Yeah.
grace. Take a minute. We're gonna come back in 1 hour and we're gonna discuss this. But right now, I just need a minute so we don't hurt each other.
Yeah, and the way that Chris just did that, we're gonna come back in 1 hour. Let's circle back to this evening, after dinner, tomorrow morning. If you say, can we pause, and you put a time on it, that is the difference between avoiding and doing something that's really healthy for your marriage.
This is actually a biblical concept,
Yes, it
because
is.
in the book of James, the brother of Jesus, says we should all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Sometimes taking a moment will help you do just that.
6.
When you're discussing your issue, decide if it's a problem to solve or a tension to manage.
That's so good.
Some things, some problems, some conflicts can be resolved through compromise and understanding each other, but there's also tensions to manage. For example, if your job is really stressful, well, you still have to work, right? So how do we manage that stress? How do we manage that tension? If you're having an issue with one of your kids, well, you're not getting rid of your kids. So
Sorry.
how do you manage that tension?
If you keep fighting about who does what around the house, your house isn't going anywhere, right? You have to come up with creative solutions to solve this problem. So it is definitely a tension to manage because it's still going to be there. So what that could look like is listing out some solutions together and just brainstorming some things and then deciding where you want to compromise on. Because chances are one or both of you is going to have to compromise a bit. And so coming to a conclusion that you can see. But remembering in all of that, like you said earlier, your spouse isn't the issue, right? The issue is the issue.
And in our marriage membership, we have discussion guides for this exact thing we're talking about. You list out your stressors, you list out the things in your life, the tension you're trying to manage, and you create ways to understand which things can be solved and which things need to be managed. So there's a link in the notes below if you want to check that out. So remember, every relationship has its ups and it has its downs. But if you can apply these practical tips to your marriage when tensions are high, when emotions are running high, you can and will resolve things much quicker. And by the way, this works also in any relationship, not just the marriage relationship. Try this with your coworkers, try this with your friends, try this with your kids. It should work in any relationship. If you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel or share this video with someone you think it could help. So have a great day, everyone, and remember, your life is not small.
Bye, guys.